All right, it's time to start our next session. Hopefully everyone has had interesting sessions so far. I see that we are a bit over 100 already joining this session, so it's time to start. So warmly welcome to the employer presentation of Nordea, the largest financial services group in the Nordic region. For those of you who haven't seen me in the previous sessions, so my name is Melissa Arniharden, and I work for the city of Espoo, and I'm one of the organizers. In this session, we have two speakers, so two tech talent acquisition partners from Nordea. Annina Perttu, who is a result-driven recruitment professional with experience in end-to-end recruitment. She specializes in sourcing top talent within tech and IT sectors, and candidate experience is very close to her heart. She's dedicated to ensuring a positive and pleasant experience for those people she interacts with. So I will bring Annina to the stage. And then I will also bring Anna Dahlström to the stage. So she is based in Sweden, and she is specializing in tech markets and talent for Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Poland, and Norway. And she's an HR generalist doing senior leadership advisory, salary negotiations, employer branding, immigration expertise, talent management, labor law, and union party communications. So warm welcome to Anna and Annina. Couple of practicalities. So we have about half an hour for this session, and we really hope that you are active during the session with the Q&A function. So on the upper bar of the screen, you can see this Q&A bubble. So please use that to share your questions and comments, and also upvote. So questions that you also find interesting, feel free to upvote them so we know what is of a special interest to you in the audience. But yeah, so without further ado, I leave the floor or the screen to you and Annina and Anna. Please, the stage is yours.
Thank you, and thank you for the very nice presentation of us.
I feel very humble into this presentation. Thank you so much, Melissa. Yes, and welcome everyone to our session. It feels very fun to be here.
Great. Welcome all. It's so nice to see so many of you here, even though we can't actually see you, but still we can feel your presence. And thank you for your interest in Nordea. So we are having a 15 minutes presentation to just briefly introduce Nordea, which is, by the way, a leading Nordic bank. And some of you in line might have an idea what it's like to work for a bank, but hopefully at the end of our session, all of you have learned something new as well. And maybe to highlight why we are having only 15 minutes presentation is because we want this session to be more of a conversation with you guys also, rather than just us having a corporate presentation. So please write your questions in a Q&A chat, and we will come back to these after the presentation and have a proper Q&A session. Good. Melissa already introduced ourselves, but maybe I can also shortly introduce myself. I am Annina Perttu, and I work as a tech talent acquisition partner here in Nordea, and I am located in Helsinki, Finland, and this is my colleague, Anna.
Hello everyone, my name is Anna. As you can see, I've heard multiple times now. I am also a tech talent acquisition partner and a close colleague to Annina. We work in the same team. And I am located in Stockholm, Sweden. So as you can see and notice, we are in different locations. That works really well regardless. But speaking of which, we are really interested in knowing where you all are from. So in the Q&A chat, we would love to hear if you could just share which country you work and live. And please use the Q&A function of the chat. It's about a 10-second delay sometimes, just so you know. So please share and take a couple of minutes to share where you are from.
All the way from USA, at least I can see.
Oh,
yeah.
Welcome.
From India as well.
Yeah.
That's exciting. I will wait up some of you also answering.
I think it's sometimes hard to understand how international it is, especially
Someone
at
from
Nordea.
Espoo.
Oh,
That's great. I also live in Espoo.
Do we have any Stockholmers that I can represent?
Finland,
Maybe not.
Brazil.
Oh.
Philippines. That's great. Nice.
That's really exciting. It's good to have you all here, all over the world, which is kind of a good segment. You can please continue writing if you want to. But this is actually kind of a good segment into our next slide, where we're going to take a look at where we are located within Nordea.
So here is presented Nordea on a map. And as you can see, Nordea is a truly global player. We have employees in the Nordics, Poland and Estonia. And based on the numbers, we have over 6,000 employees in Finland, Sweden and Denmark. So those are our main markets. But in addition to that, we have few hundreds employees in our international offices as well around the globe, serving our various customers and stuff. So it's exciting to see that someone was actually from USA, because we also have an office in New York. So that's exciting. But maybe why it is relevant to understand the size of our company and the main markets is because your recruitment process can actually be very international. And especially in IT and support functions, you as a candidate can be in a different country than the hiring leader or the recruiter. So here is an example of how the process can actually look like. So you as a candidate can be, for example, in Helsinki, your recruiter can be located in Poland, in Gdansk, and the hiring people leader can be in Norway, in Oslo, for example. And also your future team members can be in different locations. Like me and Anna, I'm in Helsinki, and Anna is in Stockholm.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
We wish we could be together all the time.
Exactly. But luckily we have Teams and all kind of chats. But also your team members in the future can be in 3 different locations, for example, in Stockholm, Oslo, and Helsinki. And if you are located in Helsinki, your direct leader can be located, for example, in Denmark. So at least for me, that is very exciting, and actually one of the reasons why I personally enjoy working here. And we also appreciate if our candidates enjoy these types of international setup. I think it's very unique, at least in a bank world. Cool. Maybe let's talk a little bit about our culture. And as you can see here, is with us, you will constantly develop in your work. We have a slogan here in Nordea that we are for people who wants to move forward. So we want to ensure that you have an opportunity to constantly develop yourself, that you will have a career path within Nordea. And as you saw from the previous slides, we are a very international bank, and international bank offers also many opportunities. And Anna will tell you a little bit more about our culture.
Yes, and I think that we are aware that this slide is very like selling and maybe a bit corporate, but we do think that this really encapsulates what we stand for and what we're trying to look for when we are recruiting or doing business or whatever it might be. And to translate this into something a bit more tangible, we really try to do our best to live and breathe our culture in everything that we do. And why we're showing this during this presentation is that we would also like to hire people who share these values and the importance of these. And later during this presentation, we will go further into the values that we have stated. But before we do that, we also need to talk about the external customer that we have, because we, as you all know, there are internal and external customers, and the external customer is such a vital part of what we do and who we are. And how this relates to culture is especially because we really believe that culture that we have internally will be shown in the interactions that we have with the external customers as well. So looking at this slide, it is a bit wordy. We're not going to go into detail about everything, but just to kind of show you the customer segments that Nordea actually have. We have divided them into 4 different ones, where we have personal banking, meaning that let's say that I, as a private customer, would like to open a bank account. I will fall into this segment. We have business banking, which is the small and medium-sized enterprises. So let's say that I have a company and I'm looking for a business loan that I need for my company. I would fall into this segment. Next one is the large corporates and institutions. Just as it sounds, it is the bigger corporates that we are working towards. You can also see here that we have our international business units in New York, London, and Shanghai, which could indicate what type of businesses we're actually talking about here, the big ones. And on the last one, we have asset and wealth management. And why we are presenting this in the context of culture and also recruitment is that regardless of what you do within tech at Nordea, the product that you are creating, or that the work that you do on an everyday basis, will fall into one of these 4 segments at the end of the day. So, and I think that this is something that is quite unique, I would say. We've been working with talent acquisition for quite a long time, and for different companies and different industries. And I've never really seen this before in this type of context, since let's say that you have a very personal interest in money laundering, for example, or financial crime prevention, or AI, or whatever it might be. You could start as let's say an IT developer in one of these kind of more niche units, but then the end product of what you do might still end up in one of these 4. So, and you can also move towards whatever you are interested in during your time at Nordea, because we really value that people move around. And as Annina said, we want people who want to move forward. And this is really encapsulated within the culture that we have. And speaking of more values and more core values, we are of course talking about diversity and inclusion. We are aware that this is a bit of a buzzword in the today climate of both corporate world, but also LinkedIn. Just looking at that, it's a word that pops up in almost every conversation nowadays. And that doesn't make it less important. However, I do think that the importance comes from, are we only talking about it, or are we actually working towards this? Are we doing something to actually do this in our day-to-day work? And Nordea has for quite a long time been at the forefront of trying to be better at this, and also trying to really incorporate this in our daily work. And we have made or divided these into 6 different areas, where we have ability variation, age diversity, cross-faith and beliefs, cultural diversity, gender equality, and LGBTQ+. And I could talk about this all day. I won't do that. But one of the most proud moments, I would say, for me and Annina is the gender equality one, because this aims towards having both legal genders to be represented with more than 40% in all units and parts and levels of the organization. And this is actually something that we are currently meeting. We have a minimum of 40% in all our units. And this is a requirement both in terms of total workforce, but also in the leadership that we have. And this is, as you all probably know, within tech and the tech market, it is not very diverse, and that this is something that we are trying to change, especially within the industry that we are working in, which is banking, which also not very diverse, unfortunately. But I do believe that we're onto something here, and this is something that is a very foundational part of the culture that we are trying to lead. And like most companies nowadays, you can find the corporate values on a website, usually on the employer branding site or about us, finding new jobs and so forth. And Nordea is not different in this, and I think it is important that companies do have values, because then you as a candidate can see, is this something that I relate to? Is this something that I would like to work towards? So we are again mentioning we are for people who want to move forward and not to nag about this too much, but it is something that is really important to us, and it is something that we are looking forward to when we are looking at candidates and who we want to hire. And the 4 parts that we have chosen are collaboration for the common good, ownership, it starts with me, passion to serve our customers, and courage to do what is right. And this is not something that is only seen in the business that we have, like in the culture with between employees, but also on a societal level, as in we are a bank who is serving our society, not only in Finland and Sweden, but also internationally. So with this said, we are very curious to hear if this is something that you who are here attending also relate to. So again, in the Q&A chat, we would love to hear if any of you would like to share which of these values you relate to the most, or if you have a different set of values that you see as the most foundational of you being part of a workforce or in your day-to-day life, and how these could relate to the 4 that we have chosen in Nordea. So again, if you wish, we would love to hear your opinions about this. The suspense is killing me.
No answers yet.
I think it's interesting because these 4, at least if you ask me, they kind of go hand in hand. I think that you can relate one to the other one, but you can also interpret them differently, because passion could be, of course, seen in something else than just the customer focus part. It could also be seen in how well you do your work, or how you're an integral part of the community, or whatever it might be. So I think that these are quite of a good foundation.
At least we have one passion here.
Yes. Oh,
shows
my favorite.
Yes.
Which one is your favorite, Annina?
I think collaboration, maybe, because I think it all starts with collaboration. Everything that we do, but all are important, but that's maybe my favorite one.
I agree.
There's also now ownership. Yes. Courage and ownership.
Very good. Courage is a bit of a wild card, I would say, speaking from a business, like corporate perspective, and this is something that we usually discuss in the team as well, like how does this translate into the day-to-day work that we do. But I do think that this could be courage in doing something differently. It could be how we recruit, how we do business, how we build teams, could be all of these things, that just trying to do something different from what we've always been doing.
Good. There's collaboration, ownership, courage, collaboration. Good, great.
Good. Thank you so much for sharing.